Now this is sort of a random video, but I couldn't let it go. So basically, I've always wondered about the reasoning people use to justify jogging or walking or cycling or whatever next to major roads whilst cars and trucks are flying past, and these people are just sucking in all the emissions of the vehicles whilst they're exercising. The bit of irony for me is that through their physical exertion their heartbeat will be higher and they're breathing deeper, and so they'll be actively breathing in more of this carbon monoxide than someone who is just sitting or standing there or not there at all. And I think this applies even more in cities where air pollution is generally much worse and they're more likely to be trucks, which obviously use diesel, and that seems to be one of the worst emissions that can enter your lungs, with the primary danger zone being within 150 meters either side of the road, which is quite a massive distance, which I think would mean that even if you're in the middle of a park, you'd be in the danger zone. I understand that if people don't have anywhere to actually run other than the sidewalks, but there are alternatives including the gym, and if you live near the beach, run along the sand. Apparently there is increased resistance as compared to running on a hard surface. Obviously my criticism also includes what I and probably many others think of as a common sense notion that running on sidewalks and roads is bad for your knees and joints. But apparently the evidence is mixed for this. In fact, though, it is undisputed that running on harder surfaces increases the impact force when your foot hits the ground, there is, however, contradictory evidence as to whether harder surfaces actually lead to more injuries. A variety of surfaces is better than sticking to one consistently. Chair of USA Track and Field Sports Medicine and Science Committee, Dr. Bob Adams agrees. You want cross-training, he says. The ideal would be to run on the pavement, some on the track, and some on the trail. So there's even more of a reason to not run near a congested area. And I haven't even mentioned the cyclists who train riding along highways. Not only is it fucking dangerous, but literally breathing heavy whilst riding with thousands of cars going past you isn't going to be good for your lungs. Plus, people really do hate cyclists on the road. And I don't know about the rest of the world, but especially considering in Australia, cyclists must ride on the road and follow the road rules, even though they usually don't. They tend to run red lights and other stupid shit like that, so people hate them. They've been described by some haters as cockroaches of the road, a two-wheeled menace and a threat to civilization and the Australian way of life. And to add to the fact that cyclists inhale so many pollutants, a recent study in 2017 examining mortality and disability due to serious road accidents found there have been quite massive increases in hospitalisation and disability for cyclists for the state of Victoria. So overall, the incidence of hospitalised major trauma for motor vehicle occupants, motorcyclists and pedestrians had not changed over 9 years from 2007 to 2015. But lo and behold, the incidence of hospitalised major trauma for cyclists had increased 8% per year. And while DALYs, which is Disability Adjusted Life Year, or the number of years lost due to ill health, disability or early death, has declined for every other group including pedestrians and motorcyclists, it has actually increased by 56% for pedal cyclists. So I don't know how cycling to work or just randomly cycling on the road is advantageous for your health when you have a high chance of injury, hospitalisation and disability due to crashes, and the fact that you're sucking in all those fumes. So tell me in the comments if you agree with my assessment or you think that the risks are worth it. See ya.